All right, disclaimer time, guys. This is not your normal ValleyFlyin high energy, fun Marvel Strike Force video. This video is about some of the recent events within the Marvel Strike Force community. And if that is not your cup of tea, then I will see you in the next video with some awesome gaming content. And I hopefully before you leave a like anyway, because I have forewarned you about what is to come. I'm talking with Khasino. And one of the reasons I want to talk to him is because there have been some things that have been said about him, some true, some not true, recently, and I do want to discuss those with him and give you an accurate picture of what was the intent behind this, if he's really remorseful behind this, and I leave this thing uncut. Normally, I would cut this thing where it needs to be cut. Chop some things off, re-record some parts. I mean, there's one story that I cut off in the middle and forget to come back to the rest of the story about what happened the morning of the weekly news video. But anyway, yes, it is uncut, and I left it uncut because I feel that this deserves to be uncut, so nothing is misconstrued, nothing is taken out of context. And yes, there are some scene switches, but that is just me pressing some buttons on my stream deck and switching scenes in OBS. And it is the recording is unstopped though, so it is all one recording. So enjoy. And if you are still here and this is not your type of video, then you have been forewarned. And even if you don't like it, hopefully you leave a thumbs up anyway, because yes, I'm warning you guys. So Hulk fist bump, enjoy. So, Khasino, it's a busy week for you, man.
It's been pretty quiet. No, of course not. It's been really chaotic. But yeah, I guess before we even get into this story, there's really two important things that need to be said. So the first is, I'm sorry, no qualifiers. And the second thing is, for those of you watching this is on ValleyFlyin's channel. Regardless of how you feel about me, please, 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 ValleyFlyin is my friend. Do not hold this against ValleyFlyin. He's trying to do right by everybody. He wants to open the discussion, find out what happened, but he has no ill will towards anyone. If you are upset by me being here, simply let him know, and I'm sure he'll never have me on again. But please don't downvote this video. If you think Valley is portraying me in a poor light, again, do not punish Valley for trying to do the right thing and trying to clear the air and trying to uplift everyone. So yeah, that's really important to me. Please, 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 no one hold this against Valley for trying to be a friend and for trying to be understanding.
Oh, I appreciate that. And yeah, one of the reasons I did want to have you on, I think there is some misunderstanding of what has kind of gone on in some of the aftermath of what has happened, some of the things that has been said, some of which are true, some of which are not true. And I kind of wanted you to give you your chance to clear the air on here. And talking kind of about what happened with the news video as well, some of the behind the scenes, because not everybody's fully aware of what happened with that. And one of the reasons I did want to have you on is because I think both sides do have some valid points. I don't think either side is totally right. I think both sides have some valid points, which is why I was still torn about what to do with this. So that is one reason I wanted to give you a chance to air some of that out. The other thing, and I think this is a big thing, I don't think that you are a bigot or a homophobe or a misogynist or any of these other names that you've been called since then. So if I did believe that was truly in your heart, we wouldn't be having this conversation on that right now. I want to have you on, and I want to give you a chance to talk about some of these things that went on. I guess let's get right into it, man. What the hell were you thinking?
Well, I worry that answering this question is gonna get people up in arms right away.
Well, let me put it this way. You were, I'm not sure what happened on the tweet to prompt you to on the stream to prompt you to read this text exchange, but you knew that this would not go over well by the long qualifier that you did for that. What made you still go on with that decision? Because I'm not sure if I would have went on with that if I had
Right.
that going on. If I knew, oh, I have to do this disclaimer in order to read this. What is the positives and the negatives of
Right.
that? Why would that still prompt you to read that?
Right. So a lot of people seem to hold that point of view of like, you knew you were going to hurt a bunch of people and you did it anyway. And I never, ever, ever would have done this if I thought I was going to hurt a bunch of people. The last thing I wanted was to hurt a bunch of people. So I guess the most accurate answer to what were you thinking in the first place, what I was thinking was, I'm about to broach a very sensitive hot button topic. My hope is that everyone who hears it can have an all-inclusive laugh, regardless of your orientation, your race, or anything like that. I was hoping everyone would have a laugh. I was hoping absolutely no one would be upset, and I was hoping that that this would, and I get that this is difficult for some people to believe, but I can only speak to what I was really thinking. Is I wanted to help further the cause by trying to take some of the hurtful power away from a lot of those words. So the disclaimer wasn't to make sure I don't get in trouble. The disclaimer was to make it very clear how I feel about all of these things before they came up. The first disclaimer was, you are about to hear language that may upset you. So if there is language that can upset you, either be on your guard or cut, mute, and come back, because the last thing I want is to utter some sounds that are going to hurt people. The very next thing that I issued as a disclaimer was, I don't want people to ever think it's okay to use these words against another person. I would never use these words to describe another person. And so I made sure to say,
I do want to push back on you a little with that. We talk about the freedom of speech. Not using those words. Obviously, those words were used in a text exchange between you and another individual. So, I do have to push back on you. It is words that you have been using in that text exchange, at least. So,
yeah.
And I guess in certain circumstances, if you're at an LGBT meeting and you're, whatever, all of them are laughing at that, it's fine. Or whoever you're exchanging it with, maybe it's fine in that situation. I guess we're going to get to this, but it brings up a couple issues as well. But I do want to push back on you before we go any further.
So like I said, I would never use these words to describe another person. And I understand that people, like, whether you're describing a fictional character that represents a real person, but it's not like words only ascribe the meaning that people ascribe to them, right? So if I just say the word monkey, you're thinking of a zoo animal, because that's the assumed context. Now, if you heard me saying monkey to a person, especially a person of a certain melanin level, suddenly that's a very, very different thing to say. So because words mean different things when they're used in different ways, like, that language is language that I use amongst me and my LGBTQ plus friends all the time, right? I have a bunch of LGBTQ plus friends that regularly send me memes that include that language, and I send them memes that include that language, and it's understood in that context that there's no hate, right? No one's trading any hate. I sent them to make them laugh. They send it to me to make me laugh. They make jokes at heterosexual people's expense all the time, things like that. I'm really big on humor. I always want to try to make people laugh. I don't always succeed, but I believe in trying to make people laugh. And sometimes broaching sensitive topics is a way to make people laugh. If you end up hurting more feelings, or any feelings really, then it's not necessarily worth it. But so to kind of circle back to what was I thinking, it was not concretely established in my mind that if these words are used, for sure, tons of damage is going to be done. I can see now that a lot of damage was done, which was never my intention. So I want to rectify that. Because again, if I had my way, everyone would have had a good laugh, regardless of their orientation. It was not meant to demean anyone. And then no one would be upset. I never wanted anyone upset. I still don't want anyone upset. I'm still incredibly sorry that anyone was upset. And the last thing I wanted to do is upset people. But so just continuing on that that topic of, like, what were you thinking? The other context that's kind of missing from the clip, if you just pull the clip out, is I love Negasonic. She's one of my favorite characters. And this is, like, added on to obviously a lifetime of supporting LGBTQ plus causes with my voting record, a lifetime of having LGBTQ plus friends and trying to be there in any way for them that I can, whether it's emotional support or otherwise. As you pointed out in your other video, when people were upset that they felt America Chavez was included in the game to cater to LGBTQ plus people, I said, I don't see how there's anything wrong with that at all. And obviously I was wrong, right?
Yeah, I don't think your record indicates that that you have any ill will in your heart. I think people were upset at what was said.
Yeah,
and I guess that brings the message of free speech, and how much are we entitled to that as content creators with a larger audience, a larger unknown audience on, this is not our primary topic that we normally talk about. So it brings up another issue. How much freedoms do we have, or should we have, as content creators with audience out there that could be who knows who?
Right. Well, so the interesting thing is, and I did want to finish kind of what I was saying on that note, but to jump to this question first, I watch a lot of stand-up comedy, and there are a lot of comedians that I really appreciate, respect, and admire from all walks of life, who broach topics and discuss words and terms and phrases that aren't necessarily reflective of them in a way to make people laugh. And there is a difference, and I've learned this very much the hard way, but there is a difference between them putting something out where they choose when it starts and ends. They go, this is the start of the clip, this is the end of the clip, and I have that clip to get my message in there. What has happened here is someone else determined where the clip starts and where the clip ends, and I don't blame anyone for the clip that they saw. It sends completely the wrong message. But at the end of the day, we definitely have to handle it differently. It is not the same as doing a produced, recorded, edited thing. If you're live, anyone can hit start at any point and end at any point, and take what you're saying to mean something different. And there's also a point where what you meant doesn't matter anymore. And we'll talk about intent, but just to finish, I guess, what I was saying on the topic of intent, the reason that at that time I felt it's okay, and again, seeing what's happened, it's very obvious that it wasn't okay. But the reason why at that time it seemed okay was because I had just spent an entire stream nonstop talking about how awesome I think Negasonic is. I took her straight to Gear Tier 14. I was telling everyone she's such a cool character, and I hold what I've learned is a very, very controversial belief, that you can diffuse the power of hurtful words by wielding them as compliments. And so, in addition to
I think in certain circles that can happen, but
right.
I think in a large, more public setting, I don't think that's
right
where that can happen. Depends on the crowd,
Yeah, it's been a major lapse in judgment for me to assume that everyone would just get that I meant well. And again, whether you meant well or not doesn't. I'm not taking the position that I meant well, so what's the problem? I'm very, very aware of how much hurt has been done, and I wanted none of it, and I want to make it all right. Anyone who is hurt, I've said, please come talk to me, PM me. I will take as much time as we need between me and you so that you understand hurting you was never my goal, and I want to understand what I can do to make it better for you. And that is why I have apologized, and I'll continue to apologize, because I never wanted anyone to be hurt in the first place. But the idea, because a lot of people keep saying I don't mean that I didn't mean the words in a positive light, and I can't make them believe me. I can only say what I believe is true. But the additional steps taken to only pair those hot button words with a compliment. We were also calling her fiery and fierce and ferocious and a savage, all these things that I used to refer to characters that I think are awesome. Mm-hmm. I made sure, like, if I, in full disclosure, having nothing to do with their orientation, I don't find America Chavez to be that interesting of a character. So if I were saying these things about America Chavez, I could see how it's portrayed as like, oh, he's dumping on or mocking a character he doesn't like. But Negasonic's character, I really, really like. So in my mind, this was the appropriate legwork. And again, I know where we're at now, but just to completely answer
intent aside, what we were talking about earlier, I think the intent, it does matter. And we kind of drew the same analogy of comparing it to someone driving. If you are driving and you get into an accident, someone is killed, it's an accident, you're still responsible for that.
Absolutely.
Maybe not as much as someone that does that on purpose. It's a totally different crime, murder versus manslaughter, but you're still responsible for your actions, whether intent was there to create harm or not. And I think you have taken some steps. We're going to get into that a little bit, but one of the things that I did not like was the cancel culture that was going on around you. Everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes. I think a lot of the viewers have made mistakes in the past. And I don't like one mistake defining you. I know you're going to continue to make, everybody's going to continue to make mistakes. So I did want to, that was another thing that I want to talk about. But as far as the intent, the drunk drivers and things like that, what is your take on intent? Some people say it doesn't matter what your intent is, the hurt words are, and I kind of agree with it, because if there were some people who were hurt, and I have no idea if there were, because it's broadcast to a larger audience. So, what is your take on intent? It doesn't matter what your intent was.
We've been hearing from both sides, and the problem is when I say intent matters, I don't mean intent is the only thing that matters, right? We both agree intent only goes so far in the conversation, and it definitely, what I've been learning, like the biggest lesson I've learned from all this is that intent doesn't go as far as I thought it should. Intent doesn't matter for as much as I thought it should. For sure, like my stance on how important intent is has changed because of all this. And I think that at the center of this issue, I really think that the discussion around intent is probably the most important one. But so to go back to your example, and that's the exact same example I've been using, is intent doesn't absolve you. And I've never once said, I meant well, so what's the big deal? That's never been my stance. I've never maintained that if you mean well, you can do no harm. That's a drunk driver is a perfect example. A drunk driver doesn't mean to plow into a family of 4, but if they do, it's a horrible, horrible atrocity. And whether you meant to or not, you are directly responsible for doing something terrible. Drunk's a little different
because you take some responsibility by getting behind the wheel, but it maybe a normal traffic accident because you have no intent at that point. It's just a total accident, but a driver.
I agree. Okay. We can go with that. A driver. So intent does not absolve you. And I've never once tried to suggest that it does. However, people have been getting upset with me for pushing back against a singular statement, which is that intent doesn't matter at all. I've been hearing that a lot. People are just saying your intent means nothing. Your intent means nothing. Your intent means nothing. I'm getting that 24/7. And that communicates to me that intent means a lot less to people than it should. But I have also been getting a ton of messages saying, like, we know what you were going for. We know you meant well. Chin up. You don't deserve this. And I'm hearing both sides of it. I'm not only listening to people who tell me I don't deserve this, and I'm not only listening to people that tell me it matters not at all, what I was trying to do. But at the end of the day, built into our ethical system in the United States, at least, I can't speak for other countries, but in the country that I've been born and raised, we do look at intent. Again, just like in a car accident where there's a fatality, you don't just get to walk away like, well, it was an accident. See you at work tomorrow, Bob. Like it's not that. But we do differentiate between involuntary manslaughter and first-degree murder because they're very different shades of hurtful people. Those both point to tragedy. But a better example is accidentally stepping on someone's foot is not the same as stomping on someone's foot. They both result in someone with a hurt foot, and they could both, be so severe as to send someone to the hospital and cause a major problem. But, my dog just let themselves in. Okay. Anyway, now my girlfriend's let herself in. All right. Anyway, it's different, right? When someone accidentally steps on your foot, there's the context, right? Immediately. If someone accidentally stepped on your foot, versus if someone intentionally stomps on your foot, you tend to know. But, when your foot gets stomped on, you're not happy about it. It's not like, oh, this is all great. I love it. Do it again. But you don't immediately go like, well, it's I guess I'm fighting this person.
I got you. It doesn't really make a difference to the victim. It does make a difference maybe in your punishment and, you know, as far as a crime. And I think there's been some stuff you've went through. I've stopped by your streams to see what's going on, and it's all about this stuff, you know. So I think there has been a little bit of a toll. I'm not sure what the correct amount of that is. I'm not sure. That's for I'm not sure who decides that, but anyway, let's move on, because I guess there should be a road back when you make a mistake. But there is a lot of criticism also about some of the way you handled it, and I've run across this myself firsthand. I don't know if you remember this, but back when Red Stars came out, there was a video that was made, and people were asking how come Khasino wasn't in, and he used the word I was excluded, and there was a whole debate about the word. And I get you. I get that your meaning sometimes is not what is typed out. So let's just go take a look at it. This is a PDF that was circulating around Monday morning. So someone made this like right off the bat.
Yes, well, so I do want to talk about this PDF, but okay. I want to give context for this PDF, because the authors of this PDF have been, I'm sad to say, they've been my close friends for over 2 years, and they rushed to the conclusion that this was confirmation that I am indeed a racist, homophobic misogynist, and immediately took that to mean like this is a complete betrayal of trust and we are actually enemies. And I've never seen it that way, right? Like I still consider them my friends, but they immediately and this just speaks to how guttural of a reaction people can have to what I said, and it definitely confirms that I did not pay this this topic and this language anywhere near enough respect, because I never would have imagined that my closest friends would immediately declare themselves my enemies over something like this. But so they've kind of made it their mission to destroy me, and maybe I deserve it. You know, we'll talk about that. I'm not sitting here
let's see what was said, and maybe there's explanation for some of it, and maybe it's just some regrets that which could have done differently. The first thing is a tweet that was sent out in response to one of your sponsors, I think, and just the clip that you were talking about with some of the derogatory names. Actions following this video. There's two options: either double down, continue acting the same way. You can apologize, admit your fault, growth, and speak out against it. Significant portion of the community, entire moderator team agrees his actions were wrong. Continue defend his actions. Issues no apologies and further actions since he streamed that evening. Is this accurate at this point?
No.
When this was written, what are they referring to? Why are they saying you're doubling down? Why is it a mix up of context? Is it something that was said in jest? Why was this written by some of your previous closest friends?
So the first thing is it's objectively inaccurate, because before anyone expressed any outrage, when I used the last attempted joke, what I said before a single person, before anyone expressed any outrage, the first thing I said was, "If this offended you, I'm sorry." And I realized that that's not an all-encompassing apology, but that was already the first of what's become, I'll just say, many apologies. I started being apologetic immediately in case anyone was offended. And I was hoping it was an unnecessary apology because no one was offended, but I wanted to immediately let people know, like, if this has done any damage whatsoever, let there be no question, I'm sorry. Damage was never the goal. Hurt feelings was never the goal. Disparaging comments was never the goal. Demeaning comments was never the goal. So I've been apologizing a lot almost immediately. Where the claim that I doubled down came from is I said I apologize if anyone was offended, and people found that to be a very disingenuous apology. I stand by, I mean that 100%. To absolutely anyone who's offended, I'm very sorry. That is not the only thing I'm sorry for. That is one of many things that I'm sorry for. But so I said, I'm sorry to anyone who was offended. And then I've said, I'm sorry for what I said. I'm sorry for how I said it. I'm sorry for not doing a good job preventing it from upsetting anyone. You know, I've apologized for many things.
Filtering yourself a little better.
Yeah, I could sit here and spend the whole rest of the video telling you all the different things that I didn't do the way I wanted to. But where the he's not sorry came from was, you know, someone said, just admit it. You think it's funny to mock and demean, you know, people who have a different sexual orientation. And I've been adamant, absolutely not. It's not funny to demean, disparage. Like growing up, starting in 4th grade, I was, a lot of the words that you heard used were actually thrown at me constantly. I don't want to get too into it. I'm not trying to play the victim card here, but I take very, very seriously the suggestion that I would ever sign off or encourage people using this to describe another human being. Absolutely not. So they, you know, they wanted me to confess to wanting to hurt people. And I refused to confess because it's not true. I didn't want to hurt people. I did hurt people.
I'm not getting the confusion with double down and I don't want to hurt people and I stand by what I said. I'm not getting the connect with what they're doing there. What
I don't think there is.
There's okay.
I don't think there is additional context. I said, I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry for this. Okay. I probably made some kind of comment like, I'm not sorry for meaning well. I'm not sorry for my intent. And
knowing you and the discussions we've had in the past, you try to be super accurate, but in that you know end up offending people unintentionally. And I've been a victim of that firsthand. I think that was our first like public thing that went on for a little bit. Anyway. What else? Let's move on to this because this is something that was a little disturbing. I will give them the clip. They never stop talking about me. It's not a coincidence. This happens every 1 to 2 months. The key is to be outrageous without being inflammatory. So this led a lot of people and to believe that this was pre-planned. Now, I guess not hurting is kind of reflected in that, not being inflammatory, which it was, but. Was this premeditated or what? Why was this done? Was that part of what was going on in your head in the beginning, or trying to create some controversy, or was this just a joke run wrong and trying to capital? What happened here?
So, in terms of like, was this an executed stunt? No. The context behind that is that I am not afraid to have difficult discussions, and many people feel. I'm not qualified to have difficult discussions. If I want to have difficult discussions involving sensitive topics, I should lose any platform to do that. And I should just do that, you know, between me and the people willing to talk to me in a corner somewhere. But as it currently stands, I am okay with having difficult discussions. I'm not afraid to.
So what is the difficult discussion in the clip that he's talking about? The giving that you're talking about here, giving the clip.
Well, so this involved the use of, okay, so when I said like I'll always give them the clip, what I mean by that is there are people who just sit on the sidelines, and the minute that they think they have something they can hold against me, they want to, right? You can look, just one example is the person who posted this clip on Reddit. When this clip first surfaced on Reddit, it was posted by someone, and if you look at their post history, this is someone who watches every single one of my streams and has tried maybe 10 times in the past to take a clip out of context and go, look at what he did. This guy should lose everything.
So you're referring to giving that person this clip? Is that
sort of not like I hand delivered it? What I meant is I will talk about difficult things, and if they're going to sit around all day and wait for me to say something that sounds bad out of context, they will find it. I will always give them that clip, in that I won't not talk about important things to me.
Gotcha. The soundbite clip type. Okay.
Yeah, I will always give them the soundbite because they will not keep me, like, at the end of the day, and whether people want to believe me or not, at the end of the day, this clip originated because I thought, oh, this is a good opportunity for me to condemn homophobia. So I will always give them the clip.
But this is another thing with language that we've had before. A clip, for me, I'm assuming like a video of it, not me saying that, like a soundbite. So maybe that's where some people is getting confused. Maybe it's not. But for me, I was I was questioning what that meant about that. Cone said it happens every 2 months. What did you mean with that one there?
I mean, it's not a coincidence that this is a regular occurrence. From the day I started,
creating controversy.
Yes, but it's not. The goal isn't to wake up and go, "How do we be controversial today?" It's if you want to have a difficult discussion about rape, if you want to have a difficult discussion about abortion, if you want to have a difficult discussion about homophobia, if you want to have a difficult discussion about any of these sensitive topics, I am willing to engage you in that, and I can't promise I will navigate that conversation perfectly. But I'm willing. I want to hear out people's opinions on that, and I want to find the most loving and accepting way to kind of get everyone to understand everyone else's point of view. One of my favorite things to do is hear points of view of people who don't agree with me at all. As soon as someone thinks like, "Oh, you couldn't be farther off on this point," I'm like, hop on voice chat and let's talk about it, because I can learn the most from people who see things the farthest from my point of view. So when I said like it's no coincidence this keeps happening, this is who I am. I will talk about difficult topics, and
gotcha. And in reading this, it sounds like your meaning is a little different, but when hearing you explain it, it makes sense to me. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but it makes sense to me. I know you're looking out for me. Appreciate it. More slower than expected. Those is early could blow over in a couple hours. Obviously did not. I'm prepared to fight the good fight. I'm generally supportive of the cause. So it's not like you're saying anything contradictory at this point.
No, and let me just interject. The first thing that I did immediately after I heard even one person was upset is I reached out to my LGBTQ plus friends, not all of them, but a large amount of them. For example, I met a guy at SDCC who is the leader of an all LGBTQ plus alliance. And one of the things that he told me when I met him in person was, "Hey, I just want you to know on behalf of my entire alliance, we're really glad that you have your stream, because it's one of the few places we can hang out where we don't feel discriminated against at all. So thank you for having a place that we feel comfortable to go." And so he was the first person I messaged, and I was like, "Hey, before this gets presented as me attacking anyone, what's your opinion? Like, did I cross a line?" And basically the reason why, as of this very moment, about half my current moderation squad are LGBTQ plus members are because I reached out to many of them to say, like, if I've done or said something I shouldn't have, which I now know obviously I have, let me know, because that's not what I'm going for. And they were like, immediately, "We know that's not what you're going for. How can we help?"
Okay.
So.
All right. So I guess the initial action there, this has also upset a lot of people, the use of the N-word. Now, I know how you used it. You're using it as an example of that it is not a good word to say, but people still upset that you used it in any context. Response, and I don't need to show it here, but what is your response to that? Was that another miscalculation, or is it something that you stand by at this point?
So I think it can be both. It's not as simple as like, yeah, no, I stand by it, deal with it. That's not my stance. I don't want to hurt anyone. So if the things that I am doing are hurting people, I want to find a way to do them differently. I'm not here to hurt people. I'm a video game content creator who is trying to make jokes. I'm trying to give people laughs. I'm trying to allow people to have fun. People tune into my channel for their recreation time, not for their political waxing poetic, not for their moral guidance. They tune into my channel to have a laugh, have some fun. And so if I'm hurting anyone, I can't stand by it, because that's not what my channel is about. My channel is not about hurting people. What I did say specifically with that word is I wrote, the N-word is a terrible word with a horrible racist history. That may not be the exact wording, but that's the gist of the comment.
Something like that. And so it still upset people that you're using it in any context.
Correct. And so I want to reach any kind of middle ground that there is, because I don't want to hurt people. But some people have made the decision that if so I guess I'll back up. Like I said at the start, words hold the power that we give them as people. And I want to diffuse hurtful words, all hurtful words, whether they refer to me, whether they refer to other people. I don't think we should let hurtful words exist to keep hurting people. Like that's all that they serve to do. And so, like I've used this example, like a historian, regardless of their skin tone, a historian reading a document from the 1800s may say the N-word as part of accurately transcribing that document, and people are not up in arms. Maybe there are a couple individuals.
There's a little difference with a historian transcribing things and someone just using that. I'm not sure what the intent was there, just to
condemn the use of the word,
that and that word can be used or something like that. I'm not sure what the actual intent.
Condemn the word.
I'm sorry.
Just to condemn the word. That was the whole point. That it was one sentence. People said, so people said you're willing to use harmful words against. And against is the wrong word, but you're willing to use words that are traditionally viewed as harmful to one community. Are you willing to use words that are traditionally viewed as harmful to another community? And I said, I'm against harmful words, all harmful words. So I will condemn this word. I'll condemn that word. I'll condemn any harmful language.
So why use that word right then? So, at that point when you're condemning it.
Because I don't think that there's ever a wrong time to condemn the word. I don't think there's a time and a place for being there's not a time and a place for being against the N-word. I'm always against it.
I'm not sure if I'm communicating this correctly, but I mean, people are just upset that you use the N-word at all. And so it's just, I don't know what I mean. Would you change anything at this point, or would you still say I stand by that? It is a horrible word. We should be able to use it and let people know that it's horrible and depower them. Is that kind of the stance that you're taking, or what?
So you'll notice on this video I've said N-word instead of actually saying the word out loud.
Yes.
And the reason I'm doing that is because many people have made it clear to me that no matter what, even if I'm condemning the word, for me to utter it is going to cause them pain. And it aligns with my goal of not causing people pain to not say it. I would like to hopefully one day in the future arrive at a point where I fully understand how it is possible to depower that word and not hurt people. But as I clearly do not have it figured out, I cannot responsibly say it. If I repeated that same sentence, it caused a lot of hurt, and I need to figure out how to make sure I'm not causing hurt before I proceed. But this is I'm glad you brought this up, because this is something that keeps coming up on stream, and I think people are mistaken about how you take power away from hurtful words. And I could be wrong. This is my opinion and the opinion of those I respect, people of all different ethnicities and people of all different sexual orientations. But we've been talking about this a lot on stream. And historically, the only way to take the power away from a hurtful word has been for everyone to take the power away from the word. And some people are currently stating that only the group that is the victim, the intended victim of the word, they are the only ones with the right to utter it. And I would say in today's social climate, that is absolutely accurate. However, if you look at those words are still very powerful, right? Right now, only African Americans can use the N-word in 99.9999% of contexts. And therefore, if I were to use it, it would cause a lot of pain. It is still a very powerful, hurtful word. If you look at every slur or hurtful word going back to the beginning of human language, the ones that were really hurtful at one point and are not hurtful now are the ones that everyone agrees can be said in non-hurtful ways, can be, and that's how you change the definition of a word, is you use it as a compliment, right? So, and I use this example.
I agree with you, and I agree with your intent. I don't want to get too far off topic. I was thinking this would be a 10-minute video. We're at 40 minutes now, so a couple other things I want to talk about, but I do agree with you on that, and I'm not sure how to do that. But
right. Yeah, it's become apparent to me. Neither am I. But so one tiny last little single line addendum to that is people thinking that I want to see hurtful words lose their power. That is not to say I think it's just okay to walk up and call an African-American person the N-word if I mean it complimentary. The absolute most important aspect of that is that the recipient is fully aware, understanding, and accepting of the fact that you mean it as a compliment. So I would never say this to another human being without their express consent. I would never encourage anyone else to say it to another person without their express consent. But I do believe that with the express consent of the person who would be receiving it, that is the first step to taking the hurtful power away from hurtful words. But it's apparent I have a lot to learn.
That's not my area. Possibly, it possibly could be there. Let's talk about the news video. That's a question that we've been asked. Let me switch this shot here. News video. We normally do that, and we've both gotten questions. What is going to happen with that? So let me explain what happened with it. Was talking to OMG. We were recording a video, and all of this stuff just popped up. It says you can't shoot a news video with Khasino. And he said, I don't want to do it with you. I don't want to do it with you. And by then he's like, oh, fine, I'll do it with you. So we're going to shoot the news video. I was thinking of how to tell you that I just don't want the heat on the news video. I don't want the heat that it's causing me. I'm going to shoot it with OMG. You actually called me right then when I was thinking of sending that message. We talked. That is when that poll went up. The poll on this channel went up. Should consider doing that? I kind of want to get a gauge of the audience, what they wanted to see, and it was not where I wanted it. I wanted it one side or the other. It was 60-40 right down the middle. And I also found that you put a notice on your Discord server, so that was kind of invalidated results. But even with that, it was still too close for me to like. I just got to go with my gut, and that was a lot of the comments as well. So that is what happened with that. Let's talk about some of the aftermath for you. What has happened?
Just to weigh in on the news video, I do want to go on record. If you remember, obviously I called you. And
yes, we did talk for a little while about some of the things going on.
Yep. And the first thing I said, and I stand by this, is I don't want, if I am a tainted name and any affiliation with me is damaging your brand, I don't want to be on your channel. You're my friend. I want your channel to succeed. If it is not possible to do the news video without associating hatred and discrimination with your brand, then I don't want to be a part of it, because I do not expect you to cater to me at the expense of what you're doing. We both want what's best for you. So whether I continue on,
that was my fear, honestly. I was getting a lot of messages from a lot of different people, both sides. I was getting messages from both sides, and the messages that were on the other side scared me a little. And it made me think, what do I want for this channel? What is my channel standing for? And there was a little too much heat. I want my look. It's a family friendly channel.
I'm sorry for a lot of things, and I'm sorry to a lot of people. And obviously, I'm sorry to you. Right? I put you in a lose-lose situation.
It was a lose situation. If I had you on, half the people would not like it. If I didn't have you on, the other half wouldn't like it, and it was what it was.
This is the last thing I wanted for any of us. But so, I don't have a time machine. I can just resolve to do better and be better going forward. And I'm sorry for any divide that I've caused within your community. I have urged, I've seen some people, it's a very small amount of people, but I have seen people who consider themselves my supporters who have said like, well, if Valley dropped you from the news video, then screw him. I'm done with him. I'm out. And I correct them at every opportunity. I go, that is the wrong mentality. He is still my friend, regardless of whether we continue a working relationship. I still support what he's doing. If you support me, you don't have to support me and support everything that I stand for. But I've been correcting every one of these. I shouldn't say correcting. I've been interjecting into the conversation. So every one of those, anytime I've seen that, I've told people, this is not. Don't punish Valley for trying to be considerate of as many people as possible. That we are both passionate about trying to be as considerate as possible to as many people as possible. So
Yeah,
I don't take it personally if we
I
don't.
know that was a big topic for you. I just glossed over it. I forgot about that. But yes, I totally agree. It was just a weird situation. What's some of the aftermath for you though? I mean, we're still kind of in it, but what is some of the aftermath that you've noticed? I know one of the streams that you did was a positive thing and kind of light of the situation, correct?
Yeah. So it was the very next thing, right? Because the first thing that became apparently clear is that some people have they don't care what I have to say, right? Your words mean nothing. We don't trust you. We don't like you. There is nothing you can say. And so I was like, okay. I mean, I already was like, I want my actions to speak louder than my words. My words are obviously not being received the way I'm sending them out, which is entirely on me. But my actions need to speak louder. And at the end of the day, the people who are upset with me share my enthusiasm for wanting to support LGBTQ plus causes. And so the very next stream that I did after the controversy was an LGBTQ plus charity fundraiser for an organization called Glisten. And what they do is a cause very dear to my heart. They try to prevent bullying of LGBTQ plus children, grades K through 12. It's a really, really good cause. And the way that I approached this was there is a lot of vitriol for me as a person right now. And I want to try to figure out a way to turn the vitriol for me into something productive rather than people finding ways to tear stuff down and destroy stuff and upset people and create divide. Let's find a way to join the people who support me support LGBTQ plus causes, and the people who are against me support LGBTQ plus causes. So I needed to find a way to unite these crowds. And the way to do that was an LGBTQ plus fundraiser where I agreed to match everything dollar for dollar, because the people who support me are just happy to donate. It's a cause they support anyway. How did
that end up?
It went pretty well. We raised a good amount of money. But yeah, it's the same concept. The people who are against me, I gave them the opportunity, like, look, if you want me to literally put my money where my mouth is, you're in charge. You can dictate. You can make me go broke here supporting an LGBTQ plus cause. I'm leaving it in your hands. Like I know I mean what I say. Test me and let's raise money for a good cause together.
Yeah, I think you bring up an interesting point there. You know, people are judged by their actions, not your words. And I know your words sometimes come across as arrogant and short, and it pisses people off. But when you look at your actions, the reaction that you had on that stream, the reaction said, "Hey, I want to come on. I want to do a real apology." People aren't taking my apologies right. There's something to be said for that, in my opinion. So, other fallout though. Let's talk about this one. This is one of the early things that I saw that you Foxnex Envoy that is gone. What is your reaction to that being gone? I mean, you probably had to see it coming at some point that big corporation couldn't be associated.
Yeah, I don't blame them at all. They make business decisions, right? They're a business. So ethically, I will say that if they don't understand that we support the same causes, even if I am attempting to support those causes in a way that they find despicable and heinous, I would like to believe that they understand that we are both passionate about preventing and admonishing the disparaging of any minority groups or anything like that. But from a business perspective, the only thing they lose from dropping me from Envoy is I can't make promotional videos for their new releases anymore. And if they did not do that, they would stand to lose a bunch of actual players of their game who would just be disgusted at the idea of them supporting me. And you cannot blame them for not wanting to lose, players who would then go out into the world and say, I used to play that game, but they're okay with the discrimination of LGBTQ plus people. Yeah. So I'm not. That's the worst kind of press for them. And it's directly contrary to their message. It's also directly contrary to my message, but let the heat be on me, not them. So yeah, I don't blame them at all. I feel like they had to do what they did. It is unfortunate, but at the end of the day, people had been asking me for a while why I was a member of the Envoy program, and some people incorrectly assume we get paid for it, which is not the case. Some people incorrectly assume we get perks for it, which is not the case. The thing that was most important to me to preserve from the Envoy program, and why I would voluntarily do their promotional videos, is because I liked having a direct line to the community managers, because I wanted to help make the game better. And so being able to immediately contact Cerebro, immediately contact Zeeks, helped me communicate the thoughts and feelings of the community to the community managers to make the game better. So obviously I am very saddened to have been dropped from the program, because I feel like I'm in less of a position to help improve the game for all of us. But
Gosh. What about your sponsors? How have they reacted?
Fortunately, so I'll start by saying there was a sponsor that dropped me. I won't name them because I don't think they want their name associated with my brand, but there was a sponsor that dropped me. They were not providing anything financially, so it hasn't changed my my life situation. And they did have the courtesy.
And the ones that did stake with you, what was their response? Did they like, I get it, it's a joke? Or, I mean, obviously they can't, we're in support of you using that language. Did they look at context? What happened with the ones that did stick with you?
So all of my other sponsors have said they supported me, and there were varying tones to the messages. Some were upset on my behalf and jumped up and said, look, we think what's happening to you is wrong. We know you meant well. How do we fight back? Can we do like an equality 20 promo code and, really show people what you stand for? And I'm always de-escalate, right?
So supporting the cause is what they want to do. Gotcha.
Yeah. They want to, well, again, like at the end of the day, people attacking me are attacking me because they believe I am against LGBTQ plus causes, or that I don't understand how I come across or what I'm doing, which I cannot stress enough. Like I'm sorry for everything I've done, and I want to, if I'm not getting it, please explain it to me, because I don't want to not get it. I want to go forward in a way that offends no one.
Do you think it's been sufficiently explained to you at this point?
I don't think it ever can be. I have a better understanding today than I did, but at the end of the day, I've yet to figure out a way to discuss anything without offending someone. And many content creators will tell you it's impossible to talk about anything without offending someone. But that doesn't mean it's not the goal. So my goal is to continue offending no one. And I have yet to figure out how to say, I 100% get it, and I am absolutely able to offend no one. But I'll continue to try. But so the tone of the sponsors has largely been, we received, reports about you. We looked into those reports. We find that they don't have merit, but consider this a warning. Please do not associate our brand with that type of language, even though we support your underlying sentiment to try to do good. You have opened a can of worms for misinterpretation, and we don't want the misinterpretation of really, really powerful, hurtful words associated with our brands. They basically just said, like, we don't think punishing you for trying to do the right thing is the correct call.
And you say trying to do the right thing. Are you talking about the stream after, or some of the what did they mean trying to do the right thing?
So I don't think.
I guess your intent was to try to depower the words. Is that? What do you mean the right thing?
My attempt was to give everyone a laugh, offend no one, and diffuse the power of hurtful words. But I don't want to project my interpretation of what the sponsor said. I'll read you the most recent one, and you can interpret what was meant by it. Let me just find it here. And you can cut this real quick just for how long it's going to.
I'm leaving this. There's no cuts in this one.
All right. It would be here. I'm just pulling it up. There it is. Okay. Okay. All right. So what was said in this one was, it was brought to my attention that there were some discriminatory comments made on your stream. It was in a public stream, and people see you as a representative of the brand. I wanted to note we do not tolerate disrespectful comments towards anyone, including sexual orientation, even in jest. You are a representation of our community and how we foresee it growing as we move forward. We are not removing you from the program. I wanted to provide you with a warning as this behavior is against our code of conduct. We hope that you have learned from this mistake, and if you'd like to talk to me further about it, please feel free to message me.
All right. I mean, it says clearly it's a warning. So it seems, in that particular sponsor's case, seems more like a warning than like, hey,
yeah,
get them. But yeah, don't do that again is kind of the message.
Right. And you know, I agree with that sentiment too. I'm not looking back on it like, can't wait to do this again. Like, I'm looking at it myself as like, not doing that again, because it, you know, yeah, the execution was incredibly poor.
All right, and I guess there's some other aftermath that I know you didn't want, and that was press coverage on this. Gamers stand up to homophobic, misogynist comments in their midst. This is on medium.com, posted on June 23rd. Marvel Strike Force distanced themselves from Khasino after inappropriate jokes. Have you seen this article?
Yes. So I've actually, even as recent as this morning, I've been having an ongoing dialogue with the author of that article. Yes. She is the wife of a player of the community, and she is she was tuning into my stream all day yesterday, and I think that we've definitely made some progress on the topic. Okay. I'll simply leave it at that. But yeah, I've been talking to her as recently as this morning, and as per usual, some of the more particularly upset people to receive my comments were people who received them out of the context they were delivered in, or people who are unfamiliar with my content. And so as I have, you know, continued to talk with her, it's starting to become apparent to her as well. And again, sharing the same goals as someone does not mean that you have to approve of the same route to get there. You know, some people believe in fighting a cause with violence, while other people believe in fighting a cause with love and legislation, whatever it is. But so in talking with her, I think that you know, I don't want to speak for her, but she's made it, clear to me that her original impression of me does not reconcile with her current impression of me.
Okay. And I guess in kind of wrapping up here, what should people think? What should people's impression of you be? Who's the real Khasino here?
If at the end of the day, if you want to get to know the real Khasino, I'm only a click away. I don't want people to view that as like I'm trying to spin this into views or anything like that. But if you want to know who I am, you can always come and talk to me. I get a lot of pushback on my streams for allowing just about anyone in my voice chat, but I do that so that I can talk to people from all walks of life. I like learning from other people, and so the real Khasino is someone who can only promise to continue trying to do right by people, can only promise to try not to offend people, and can only promise to want to spread love and equality and laughter. And I wish I could promise that I will never make another misstep again in my life, and I'll never run the risk of upsetting someone. But I don't feel that I can sincerely promise that, because, as I said, I am willing to have difficult discussions about topics, but it will remain my goal to not offend anyone, and it will remain my goal to take a strong stand against anyone who sincerely wants to discriminate based on people's orientation or race or any other factor. At the end of the day, I think that we are all on team people, and whatever the issues are, we can work together. So.
Agreed. Well,
that's me.
Hopefully that you got across the message that you wanted to get across. No misconceptions, nothing misconstrued. Leaving this. I'm not editing this. This is just no editing, because just wanted this to be a conversation and get your message across, and people could like it or not like it, but this is your message, and this is what it is. So that's it, guys.
Yeah. And well, lastly,
And yep.
I'm sorry.
No, go. What?
Just I'm sorry. That's
got it. I guess I mean people were looking for that. So simple. And I think that coupled with a lot of things that you said on here, people can form their own opinions on what they want to believe. I think your actions in the past kind of illustrate a better, give people a better idea of what you are, but that's for other people to decide. So that's it, guys.
Hold on. One more thing.
I'm sorry.
If you're one of the people who's been threatening to kill my dog,
oh my
stop.
goodness. No, you don't combat hate with more hate. You know, even misintended type of hate speech. You don't combat that with more hate. You know, this Don't.
I don't feel that needs to be said. Don't threaten to kill anyone's dog.
Yeah, that's yeah. All right, guys. That's it. Normal videos again next time, and yes, back to normal, guys. Have a great day. Have a great week.